What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is the Blacklist Season 7, Episode 16, Nile Hatcher. So, overall, better one, mostly because the Blacklister in this one was very interesting. It's really funny, because as I'm kind of, like, figuring out what his plan is, it's really starting to hit me, like, what exactly he's doing, and it's very rare, but sometimes there's that moment where something is so ingenious. Like, you really think about his plan and how just think about how clever that is to come up with and how unlikely it is that he would ever get caught in the process. Like, obviously people started tying it all together. Liz tied some of it together, but I mean, just think about how intelligent he must be to come up with that plan, but at the same time, just how disturbed and disgusting the plan is too. Like, it's such a. As soon as I realized what was going on, I was like, oh, 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 God. So yeah, the Nile Hatcher, again, it's a very clever plan, also very disgusting and disturbed. So bravo to the writing team for coming up with somebody who's equal parts of that, because it really does make you say, wow, the guy's a genius, while also saying, wow, the guy is a maniac. And I really liked, I think it was Wrestler's line near the end about him, where it's like, this people who have a conscience and still make that decision, to do something like that, they're almost more scary than the straight psychopaths. And it's true, because the psychopaths, you just know they don't think quite straight. There's something off about them, whether it's mental, whether it's something that they went through, and it's caused them to sort of lose the almost the ability to determine right from wrong. This is somebody who ultimately he knew what was right and wrong. He just didn't care. He decided this is what he wanted to do because he dealt with death so often. And ultimately, though, it wasn't like he didn't respect life, because as we saw, he kept all of the kids, which was another very disturbing element of this whole thing. And it just all culminated really, really well. And it was one of the better sort of individualistic Blacklist episodes that I've seen in a while. Because most of the time, the Blacklisters, they have something to do with an overall plot. Obviously, this season we've kind of gone away from that. We've gone more toward just, oh, well, yeah, we found this one thing, let's go deal with this, and now we found this other thing, let's go deal with that, and it's not connecting to some bigger plot that Reddington's involved in. And most of the time, Blacklisters like that, they tend to just sort of be one-off episodes where something is happening, or maybe we're just sort of having a little bit more filler, or Reddington is waiting to get some information, or something along those lines. It's like, we'll just do this in the meantime. That's kind of what these episodes normally are. This is a situation where this is kind of all we've had for the second half of the season, is just, we're just all biding our time, waiting to see what's going to happen next. So let's just go deal with this guy, and then let's go deal with that, and blah, 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 blah. So those one-off episodes tend to either be very interesting because they write a very creepy or disturbed or clever Blacklister, or they tend to be kind of just, you forget about him almost instantly. This was definitely one of the ones that was a bit more memorable in the setup and everything he was doing. Outside of that, the stuff going on with Dembe's mom, I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I guess we'll see what Katarina decides to do with him, but it was slightly interesting to see, okay, it seems like maybe it's going to be completely unrelated to anything. It's just this terrorism cell, possibly, that has to do with this imam, and decide to kidnap him because they think he's going to talk or whatever. But to find out it's Katarina, it's interesting, but it's also kind of, I don't know. I don't know what she expects to get out of him. Because it's Dembe's imam. And yes, Dembe is close to Reddington, so maybe she's trying to get to Dembe, and that maybe she thinks Dembe will be able to help her in some way. But I don't see the obvious connection as far as why she kidnapped the imam to begin with. Because it's not like the imam's going to know a whole lot about Reddington. Like, the only thing he'll be able to do is lead her to Dembe, and that's kind of it. So I guess we'll see if that's what she plans to do or not, or if there's something we don't know about the imam that might be able to help her. But right now, I'm kind of like, what is going on here? It just feels sort of random, and just kind of, there's a slight connection between this guy and Reddington, so I'm going to take this guy. I don't really get that. as far as Liz is concerned, she finds out, of course, that her PI was turned by Reddington. I'm assuming she knows that means that Reddington knows she knows that he's not Kozlov. I know it's very, oh, they don't know that we know that they know. But it's, I don't know. Again, I don't see her just going to Reddington and being like, "Hey, I know that you know. Can we just be honest with each other?" Because that never works. So I feel like she's gonna keep this secret that she knows Reddington found out about what she's trying to do from him, and it's just gonna keep on perpetrating, and they're just gonna keep on lying to each other. And I don't know. Again, I feel like done this dance before, and yet here we are again for like the third or fourth time. So it's a little frustrating that we're having to revert to old tricks, but whatever's going on with Reddington, though, we did see him talking earlier in the season about taking some sort of treatment that didn't work, so I guess we'll finally get some sort of hint as far as what he's dealing with and why he needs treatment for something. And I don't know if this is going to be related to the process maybe that turned him into Raymond Reddington, or if this is just some random illness. Maybe somebody's been poisoning him this whole time. Maybe something that Katarina did while she had him. I don't know. I guess we'll see where this is going, but it just kind of seems like this random subplot thrown in that, oh yeah, by the way, he's also sick. It's just something else to deal with. But outside of that, the only other thing is, of course, what I'm assuming this next episode is going to be about, since it's called Brothers. Wrestler's brother showing up and saying, hey, they're going to dig up this park, and you know what else they're going to dig up, and I'm assuming it's something from Wrestler's past that is going to come back to haunt him. So I guess we'll find out more in this episode why his brother was trying to call him, or what exactly happened before that Wrestler's trying to hide. So yeah, it might be somewhat interesting. I do like Wrestler as a character, so it'll be kind of interesting to see a little bit more about his past, because I know we've had a couple episodes before talking about that. It's just been so long since I've watched this show. I honestly don't remember a lot of the first 6 seasons. So I remember bits and pieces, of course. I remember certain characters. But overall, I don't really remember a lot of the details about what we know of people's pasts and what we don't know. So we'll see what happens next. But yeah, on to that episode. I'll see you there. And now episode 17, Brothers. So like I said, I was kind of looking forward to this one, and for the most part I got what I expected. We got a little bit more of a look into Wrestler's backstory, history with his brother, what happened to his dad. I was kind of wondering if we'd get a little bit more on what exactly happened to his dad, but I guess we're just supposed to assume, dirty cops taking money from a local gang he didn't want to, and so got shot for it. I mean, it was, I guess, I was kind of thinking that would be a little bit more interesting, but they never really expanded upon it. And so I guess we're just supposed to assume that's what it is. Just dirty cops. He didn't want to be a dirty cop, and so the dirty cop that was his partner killed him. Did he know that his partner was a dirty cop, though? I have a lot of unanswered questions regarding that, and I don't know if we're just supposed to be like, who cares? Just understand the gist of the story, but we don't need all of the answers, or if they're going to explain it later. I don't know. But it definitely left me wanting a bit more in that regard. But everything between Donald Wrestler and his brother Robbie, I mean, it was really well done. I think they picked a really good actor to be his brother. I only know him from Psych. The few episodes where he was the chief, and he was like that strict, no-nonsense chief on a show full of nonsense. So yeah, I think he played the part well. They look like they could be, older, younger brother, and I feel like they had a good, the back and forth between the two of them. It really felt genuine, and there was good chemistry between the two of them too. So yeah, a lot of those back and forth scenes between them I thought really, really worked. Again, the casting of the younger versions of both of them, I thought spot on. Really felt like younger versions, and kind of interesting to see what a young Donald Wrestler looked like. He was a little bit more of a goof off, and it kind of figured. I feel like a lot of the times those young rebellious teens that something bad happens, that's kind of what turns them into, no, I need to change my ways. I need to, fix what I'm doing. because of this traumatic thing that happened in my past. So I kind of always figured it was something to do with his dad, the way that he really charges after the truth and everything. But it's interesting to find out that he actually murdered the guy that was involved with killing his dad. It was kind of an interesting turn of events because I figured it was going to be probably a dead body. So because I figured that's what it was going to be, I kind of wondered if there was going to be something else to it. So when it was just a dead body, I was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I feel like most of them have dead bodies in their past. So I don't know. It seemed a little, I guess, a little too simple for what we've come to expect. Like with whatever's going on with Park. Clearly she's done something really, really bad. Is that just going to turn out to be, oh yeah, she brutally killed somebody and that's it? I don't know. But I will say the whole story with Tommy Markin was kind of dumb in the setup. Just because how dumb do you have to be to talk about you killing your partner right outside of his house, and you don't even bother to check to see if anybody's around. You're just loudly, yes, it looked like a clean shooting. Yeah, everything's fine. He's killed and we need to move on. Like, you don't look around to see, okay, is anybody here? Is anybody listening? No, you just, what? Who does that? Like, I know if I ever wanted to have a secret conversation, I'd just sit there and go, okay, so, yeah, tell me all of this that we don't want anybody else to know, and I will not make sure that nobody else is listening in the general vicinity. Go ahead. Who does that? And then on top of that, whenever Wrestler confronted him in his house with a gun, I'm sorry, if I were facing somebody with a gun, even if it was somebody younger, talking to him the way he did, of course he's going to shoot you. Like, you don't have the balls. You tell a young, rebellious teenager that he doesn't have the balls to shoot you, what do you think he's going to do? Oh yeah, you're right, I don't have balls. I'm really lame. I don't have balls, so I'm not going to shoot you. I'm going to set this gun down. Most teenagers are going to be like, yeah, screw you, I'll show you. Like, they want to prove you wrong. So if you had said that to maybe an older person, like an adult who is seeming very scared and very unsure of what to do, doesn't seem like a killer, that might get you more of a, yeah, you don't have the guts to do it. Then they might hesitate a little bit more because they might be like, yeah, you're right. But a teenager, on top of that, a rebellious teenager, they are always looking to prove people wrong. Somebody tells them they can't do something, they want to show, no, I can do it. And so he'll pull the trigger to prove you wrong. So, yeah, I don't know. Just a couple scenes that made me go, really? Do we have to do, the cliche, you don't have the guts, you don't have the balls to do it? Like, it's such a cliche line. And then on top of that, him being stupid and just talking about this whole thing out in the open. Plus the fact that, again, it felt like they were setting up for maybe we'll find out more about what their dad did that got him shot, and don't get any answers on that. Those few things for me kept this episode from being a really good one. It was okay. It was enjoyable. There were a lot of elements of it that I did enjoy. Like I said, the back and forth between Wrestler and his brother, fantastic. The scene between Wrestler and Elizabeth at the end, I thought that was brilliant. Just seeing, because I do feel there are hints that they might be possibly pushing a romance between Wrestler and Liz, but right now, she doesn't need romance in her life. She's not looking for that. What she's looking for is a close friend that she can trust. Just anyone that she can trust, because she's got a mom who, like she said, lethal assassin, who moved in across the hall, lied to her about it. She's got a sociopath, most wanted on the FBI, who is constantly lying to her about everything. She needs somebody that she can trust 100% in her life. And so that's why she saved Wrestler. And I'm like, that makes so much sense. And I'm glad, because I was really worried that the scene was going to end with them, like, making out or something. And I'm like, I don't want that in this scene. I want it to remain focused on what it needs to be, which is she needs somebody that she can trust. Not romantically, not sexually. She needs somebody that she can rely on, that she can talk to about all of this stuff going on. And hearing her list out everything she's had to go through, it makes so much sense. And the acting as well from her, perfect. Just chef's kiss. So, yeah, that final scene really brought this episode home and kept it from being just kind of a derivative whatever episode. But, I mean, all in all, I do think this was a good, solid episode. I just wish that there weren't so many kind of, again, it's the lack of clever writing in some of these scenes that I feel like has really brought this season down. Like, I don't remember this much head slapping, face palming writing, decisions from characters, stupid stuff happening in an episode that just, we need this to move the plot along, so we'll just have this random stupid thing happen that normally wouldn't happen in real life. I don't remember that being a thing on the Blacklist before. Maybe it was. There are a lot of situations that I do remember everything worked out maybe a little too well, but it felt more like it was clever planning. You could see where things happened before that led to something or that was planned out by somebody. Now it just feels like it's just happening. Like, this happened because that happened because, well, reasons. And it's not as satisfying. It feels more like we're lazy, so let's just have this random thing. You know what? Let's just have this guy. The way wrestler found out about his father being killed is because this guy just talked about it. Like, that's just not as fun or interesting. So, anyways, that's my little rant about the writing for this season. But overall, I don't really know what to expect for the final 2 episodes. Yeah, 2 more left, and this second half of the season has been about nothing. We've had a few steps taken forward, like I said, with Liz hiring the PI, trying to look into Kozlov. We've had a few steps taken forward, but for the most part, it's gone mostly nowhere. So I feel like there's not really much they can do in these final 2 episodes that will save this half of the season for me. And it's really disappointing, because again, I've really enjoyed the show so far. Honestly, I was considering just doing, 1 season of this and then like a season of something else and a season of something else. But after this one, I kind of want to go ahead and watch the next season just so hopefully it redeems itself. Because, yeah, the second half is, again, I feel like I've not been watching anything. And maybe because, let me just double check. I'm fairly certain that this second half of the season was in 2020. Yes. So there's a chance that maybe they got cut a little short, maybe, in filming because of everything that happened at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020. Maybe they did have some more to do, but then it got cut short, so they had to sort of end it kind of quickly. I don't know. Maybe there is something that there is a reason why this second half of the season was so poor, but I really, really hope that next season can kind of bring it back for me. Because right now I'm not as invested. I'm not really like looking forward to the next episode. I'm kind of just biding my time waiting for next season to start, because it feels like the second half of the season has just been a wash. And I've never felt like that with the Blacklist before. There have been several other shows where that's kind of how I feel, where I'm like, okay, well, I see what this whole half of the season has been about. Can we just get to the next thing, please? Because this is boring. I've never felt that way about this show, and now I do. So I'm a little sad, but I guess somebody just delivered something. But yeah, that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts over these 2 episodes? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Blacklist reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.